All right, Sarah, this is one of my favorite topics. Influencers a lot of times come in a minute, right time, right moment. Sometimes they're a lifetime. And I always share the story about my grandparents. My mom, my aunt came from Kyiv, U Ukraine, and immigrated to Canada years ago. My grandfather used to take me for walks in the park um, when I was about five. And I used to ask him, I said, Zeta, how do you know all these people that you talk to? And he would say, well, one day, that he pointed to the guy. So one day I smiled at that guy and he came over and smiled at me and da, 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 and then someone else saw us laughing and they came over and smiled at us. And as a 5 year old, I remember taking it in, although some of my friends will say I'm still at that baseline, but that's another conversation. And but I remember thinking, wow, I just have to smile. Life's going to be easy. It actually hit me that way. And then you get older, you get, over expert it, but then you get even more older and you think a smile does actually make psychologically and physiologically a difference for people. Can you share with us two or three people that have been influential in your life?
Yeah, I love that story about your Zeta and just smiling. That's the easiest thing you can do every day, and it totally makes an impact. I love that story.
Yeah, thanks.
Um, Two stories I'll give you. One, I have to talk about my mom. I've already talked about her a lot,
It's
but she
okay.
is my biggest inspiration. And one quality and one story from her is she taught me from a very young age that your life is full of many chapters, but as long as you have a good attitude and you treat people with kindness, you're going to have a great life. And I saw in her career that you're never too old to start different things. My mom wanted to have kids. She decided to have three of them and a dog. My mom wanted
You gave
to
birth to a dog?
no, but she got the dog. Um, and my mom wanted to be supportive of every kid in different ways. And so for me, soccer was a big part of my life. She was a manager of my soccer team while still having a full-time job. She got her PhD in high school when I was in high school, and I saw her take night classes to finish that because she knew she wanted to be a professor and to teach and to help at a university level. Um, she was such an example of you can have impact at every stage in your career, and it doesn't have to be stagnant. And you can always be changing and getting better in different ways. And that change is actually a very powerful thing. And to be adaptable is the biggest force. So that is a key quality I got from my mom that I'm very grateful for. Um, I'm going to talk about my grandfather too, because your story about smiling reminded me of him. So he is a British guy, wears corduroy pants. He definitely stands out in New York City, with a thick British accent. But he also has a tradition of going on walks every single day and saying hi to two random people. And it reminded me of that smiling story because it's the same idea of
Yep.
strangers don't have to be strange. Yes, no stranger danger, but we're all human at the end of the day, right? Like we have the same blood. We're
I love
all we're
that.
all living this thing called life. We're all beginners. Um, and he taught me that it's okay to say hi. That's not a scary thing. And I remember like even at 2 years old, going on walks in Central Park and being so confused why my grandfather would say hi to all these strangers. I thought because the universe tells you, be careful, be cautious, privacy is important, that was what how I should be in this world. And now, unfortunately, my grandfather is, he can't go on these long walks that he used to, but I feel a certain pride of I get to go on those walks, and it reminds me of him. So yeah, two people that have changed my life.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. It's so legacy-ish to
Yeah.
do that and impactful to keep that history going, as you said, as you talk about history before, and yeah, we were all trained to be careful more and more and more. But I've seen amazing things by just saying hello to a person who, at that moment, just hits them like somebody cares
Yeah.
and stuff. So really appreciate you sharing that, and we'll have to get into. You'll have to find a company that has Smile Inc. that girls into
Yeah.
VC can invest into or something like
I
that.
would love that. I would love it.
Thanks for sharing that again. Really special.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it.